time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, they lost in week 2 and benched their quarterback. They were tied at halftime with USF. Barely beat a dreadful Arkansas team. Needed a miracle to beat an Auburn team that lost to New Mexico State by double digits. But Dan, on the biggest stage, with the brightest lights, against a team riding a 29-game winning streak, that's when this team plays its best. And Saturday was no different, as they beat Georgia 27-24. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it, Alabama is back.
I hated myself yesterday because on a Sunday, I was actually thinking, who's going to be he's back? And I thought for sure it would be Joe Flacco.
It was close. He was in second place.
I thought for sure.
It was close, Dan.
For sure, Joe Flacco. He needed to win.
He did, yes.
He would have been.
He played well. I mean, listen, with him, the Jets would be 10-2, but Joe Flacco needed to win. It came down to him winning. He lost. He's not back.
I hated myself when I'm like,
you should.
It's
a sad way to spend the Sunday.
Which of he's well, Sundays are disgusting. Let's be honest. They're wonderful, but at the end of them, I feel bad about who I am.
Tony's saying back here that he looked good yesterday, Flacco. I don't believe that.
Flacco looked good yesterday.
I don't believe
He looked good.
Thank you. I watched every second of
He
it.
always does.
Yeah.
He's a statue with a big arm.
The air hasn't moved.
What'd you watch, Mike?
That was more spot. Moore's got to be better there. I mean, if it comes down to a debate, who screwed up, Flacco or Moore, it's Moore.
Right.
Flacco played a game that surprised me. That he can get off a plane, show up in Cleveland, and do that.
Threw 44 times. I have to admit, he throws a pretty ball.
He
always,
really does.
even the interceptions. Like God, I
Deep
love
ball's
it.
still there, by the way.
Well, but it was stupid.
It will never leave.
Regardless,
It was
again, Moore's fault. Moore's fault.
But Alabama's back. Roll Tide. This is all Auburn's fault.
It really
Dan,
is.
It is. You know what the A in Auburn stands for?
All their fault.
Wow.
Yeah, it is all their fault. It was
On your game.
It was 4th and goal.
Yeah.
You had them beat. We wouldn't have to be discussing any of this.
If it all plays out the same, except Alabama loses to Auburn, is FSU in today? Huh?
I don't know. Maybe
Not so
we talk
sure.
ourselves into Georgia.
Yeah.
At that
for
point, I
sure.
think we start talking
For
ourselves
sure.
into Georgia.
SEC team.
Or Ohio State gets crept back into the conversation.
Yes. Yes.
Florida State. I never said do it against LSU. I said do it against Alabama.
Yeah, you did.
Texas did, and look what happened.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, Alabama still got in, even though it got done to them.
How does Stugotz win in this scenario, too, where Alabama's in, but we're all like, this is asinine?
One team no one was arguing about? Texas.
Yeah.
Did it against Bama.
Mm-hmm.
By 2 touchdowns at Alabama. All of us acknowledge, okay, that's the best win of the season.
Look where Jalen Milroe is now. Texas made Alabama bench him with their performance in Tuscaloosa.
And we thought they didn't have a quarterback. They were going into South Florida with rain, and we're like, I think South Florida can cover 6.5.
Paul Feinbaum told me and Billy a great story that the reason they benched Milroe in that game was Tommy Rees was convinced the other quarterback was better. So Saban put the other quarterback in just so Tommy Rees could see how bad he was. I mean,
That's ridiculous.
That's not checkers.
That's not true.
Paul Feinbaum?
Bullshit story. Total bullshit.
Sounds good, though. Right?
That Saban is so smart, he put in the bad quarterback. It's not that Saban didn't know which one was the bad
USF, I
quarterback,
think.
because they were both bad, and he's used to having all the best athletes.
He showed Tommy Rees, though.
You showed Paul Feinbaum.
Tommy was in his bag Saturday. I'm sorry.
Watching Greg McElroy. Am I saying that right?
You always get that wrong.
It's a tough name for me.
Yeah, you add an extra L.
No, he's dyslexic. He puts the L before the E.
Well, thank you. Tell me a team can't overcome subpar quarterback play to win a national championship. The G in Greg stands for go look in a mirror. What is he talking about? Dan, you heard it here first. Something was most definitely off in Athens. In other things you heard here first, the Orlando Magic. I told you to watch out. Team's good. I'm not sure I understand the in-season tournament, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. The T in Tyler Van Dyke stands for transfer portal. Lou Piniella falls just one ballot short of the Hall of Fame, Sweet Lou. I only put it in there to say Sweet Lou. I did.
We didn't talk about Jim Leland getting in and his wife and him talking about it
my
and
God.
taking. What happened?
I got to text him and, tell him congratulations. He made it to the Hall. He's my friend.
He did. He
Want
has
him on, or?
I would like to talk to him. The picture of him taking the call was in some sort of strange, unfurnished Airbnb. That it can't be his home. The photograph cannot be the home of Jim Leland, who only loves baseball and the racetrack and deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
The G in Grady Dick stands for G League. When you're turning the Bailey Zappi, you've already lost. LeBron James would skip a Lakers game to watch Bronny's college debut. Very nice.
How did we not talk about Ime Udoka getting ejected for just talking trash to LeBron? You can't talk trash as a coach. What did he say?
I don't know.
There's not an internet lip reader that can tell us what was said there?
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. It was actually pretty tame. He's like, worry about yourself. You're soft, boy, stuff like that.
Well, I think he called him the B
Yeah.
word several times.
He was using the
but
B word, and
I don't know
LeBron was
for
on the
sure.
court being like, "Don't talk like that."
I'm not a lip reader.
he
so.
used the B word earlier on, but like their interaction that actually got Udoka tossed, that was pretty tame. They just didn't stop.
Back to LeBron, one of the many reasons he'll never be Michael Jordan. Who does that?
Does what?
Not MJ.
Does what?
Skip your own job to go see your son's college debut, and Jordan would never.
Be a good parent?
No, not Michael.
No time for good parents.
Only time for rings. Dan.
Winning.
Stu would never skip something to see one of his kids play a
No, not
sporting
me.
event.
Now you've gone too far. The Detroit Pistons becoming the first team in 8 years to go winless for a full month. 0-15. The D in Detroit stands for didn't win a game all month. That's impossible.
It's pretty amazing.
Utah State quarterback Levi Williams will skip his senior season to apply for Navy SEAL training. The L in Levi stands for let's all stop and thank him for his service.
Thank you for your service.
TYFYS. The James Harden experiment isn't working out in Los Angeles. Who could have seen that coming?
Getting emotional?
I am. I'm crying. I'm crying because teams keep making the same mistake with this guy. He's a bum. He doesn't want to play anymore. He just wants your money. All right? And they keep making the same mistake. I feel bad for the Clippers. What?
You couldn't even get that out.
I don't. Penn State making a 12-team playoff is all the proof we need that we don't need a 12-team playoff.
It's a fair take.
Thank you. You know where the 49ers took the Eagles, Dan?
To the woodshed?
Wow, you were good. You are on your game today. I mean, seriously.
I mean, they did.
Yeah.
When does that expression come from? Was it like somebody was spanked out in the woodshed in the Wild Wild West? Like, why are we taking someone out to the woodshed? What is what is happening there? What are the origins of that story?
Child abuse.
All right, great.
North Carolina comes back against Florida State behind a 22-0 run. You want to know why, Dan?
Child abuse?
Because basketball is a game of runs. Speaking of runs, the Dallas Mavericks with the rare 30-0 run in a game that they lost.
I mean, I knew that, but go ahead and read the definition.
Yep,
Chris
it
Cody.
says this phrase came from the custom of a father taking his offspring to the woodshed to whip him.
Back in the old days, I was okay.
30-0 run, they lost.
I know.
30-0. John Shire, good recruiter, bad coach. Kentucky unveiled a new court in Rupp Arena and proceeded to lose to UNC Wilmington.
That was weird.
The Seahawks, they should go back to the old court. Also, watch out for UNC Wilmington in March.
Oh, why's that?
Tough out.
Why?
Senior guard play.
Why else?
Good defense. Tenacious D. Senior guard play.
What else?
The building blocks to a team that's going to be a tough out in March.
What else?
That's
It's
all
okay.
I got.
Okay, no, that's plenty.
Yeah, it's not March there.
Okay,
We're getting there.
you'll be informed then.
Yeah. Well, no.
No, then but you'll have those. You'll have guard.
I'll be more prepared for it next time.
Experienced guard play. You know,
Yes.
watch out
Tenacious
for
D.
out
can
of
hit
the
three.
blankety blank
Senior
conference.
leadership. Yeah. If Kentucky did that to Miami, think about what UNC Wilmington would do to them. Huh? Iowa could have played that game for another 10 quarters and still wouldn't have scored.
Stugotz, I bet Iowa under 6.5 points for the game.
I bet him under a half point in the first half.
Just so comfortable.
I bought it up a half.
So comfortable. Like,
covered both
what an
halves.
amazing. Again.
I teased their team total by 6 points and still somehow lost.
You can't believe in Iowa. The idea, do you know, I've never even seen a team total of 6.5. To go under there when all I love is overs. I love overs because I don't have to, I got a shot at overtime. I got bonus time. To go under 6.5 on like a defensive touchdown and to sail all game, no problem. That's crazy to have that sure a bet. It's free money.
Yeah. Vegas made Alabama an underdog. Cute. Oregon, Washington, what a game. Let's do it again next year in the Big Ten Championship. College football, man.
That's funny, right?
It's weird, man. Kirby Smart, blah, blah, blah. Georgia's defense, blah, blah, blah.
Come on.
Oregon, blah, blah, blah. Dan Lanning, blah, blah, blah. Bo Nix, blah, blah, blah.
Come on.
Dan, you know what the N in Nick stands for? Not the NFL. You know what the B in Bo stands for? Better start thinking about getting a job.
What?
I mean, he's been there for 8 years. He's not going to
He
the
hasn't
NFL.
been there
His
for 8 years.
job
He's been
will
in
be
college.
playing in the NFL.
No, it won't be.
I've got him as a coordinator in college in like 5 years.
Exactly.
You got him being Josh Heupel?
It's projected first round.
No.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Come
Not
on.
anymore. I mean,
Bo Nix, seven years he played, 17 years he played.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that old.
And
He's no Sam Hartman.
Bo Nix, we learned who Bo Nix was altogether as a nation for beating Alabama back in Acquainter time when Alabama wasn't a lovable underdog.
Dan, you know what the O in Oregon stands for?
I do not.
Outback Bowl. Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Playing
Should have
Liberty.
changed that one. Is there still an Outback Bowl?
No.
I'm not certain there
They're in
is.
the Fiesta.
No, not anymore.
Okay,
I
so
think
it
it's-
doesn't-
I think
Bloomin'
it's gonna
onion.
lie a
You were,
Bloomin' onion.
you were
now.
so proud of that. Listen to him.
There's no Cheez-It Bowl either.
Will you listen to him? He's now running away from having done no research, doesn't know that there's not a bowl anymore. He just spits at me over his shoulder, blooming onion.
That's so good. Sauce.
They are good. They are delicious, indisputably.
If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably not going to the college football playoff. Tim Howard was elected to the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame. There's a U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame. If there is, they shouldn't allow any men into it. The only thing that should be in the men's part of the Soccer Hall of Fame is Christian Pulisic's penis.
Because the goal.
Let's
Yeah.
go Dick Goal. That's right.
Sorry.
No Landon Donovan.
No. Brock Glenn, great quarterback hair. Brock Glenn, the rare combo of a more common last name as your first name and a more common first name as your last name. How about that? Think about it.
I'll do a whole show about that. Can
Okay.
we come up with all of it?
I was confused by the sentence.
Let's do. Well, he's just saying.
He's right, though.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you.
is right.
Yeah.
He's saying that Glenn would be something that you'd more likely expect as a first name, and Brock
Correct.
would be
Thank
more
you.
likely to be
You
expected
really are on
as
your
a
game
last
today.
name.
Yes. Also, a great name for an astronaut. Top 5 athletes who have a great astronaut name. OLI, Quinn Ewers.
Well, but Glenn, you're doing that only because Glenn was an astronaut.
Of course, yeah. Number 5, Terry Glenn.
That's not a.
Number 4, Jack Youngblood. Number 3, Brock Eward. That's good. Number 2, Sam Howell. And number 1, Neil O'Donnell. Captain O'Donnell.
Jessica, why are you shaking your head?
No women, so it tracks.
Sorry. Here come the Oilers. Biggest upset of the weekend was reading a story about J.J. Watt threatening John Rahm to sign a deal with Live Golf. J.J., the Donald Trump is strong in you. The second biggest upset was me reading.
That music didn't help you there on the timing.
Third biggest Washington, I think.
Yes, cheaters never prosper unless they live in Ann Arbor. Dan, you know what the W in Wolverine stands for? We cheated and no one cares.
It's unbelievable. It really is. You sneak in undefeated. FSU's, both their quarterbacks are broken in half physically. And Michigan cheated. And it's like, yeah, they belong. Number 1 seed.
The S in Sam Howell stands for sacrificial lamb.
for beating Ohio State, a team that ran the ball. Like, they have Marvin Harrison, so they're not Penn State running the ball 70 straight times. Congratulations on winning that conference by cheating. Everyone knows there's 7 teams in the SEC that would beat you.
No one cares. Got what we want.
We're going to play Alabama now. We'll show you.
Villanova lost to Drexel to finish 6th in a tournament called the Big Five. Hell is going on. Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.